NBA free agency definitely got off to a very exciting start, but with that being said, there's still some really solid players left that could be the difference between contending and not contending for an NBA championship. For today's video, we are going to discuss the top 10 remaining free agents and which teams they should sign with. So I know where the top 10 remaining NBA free agents are going to be signing this offseason. Well, okay, I don't know where they're actually going to sign, but I do have a pretty good guess on where they should sign at. And what is this but not just guessing and speculating until Kevin Durant forces himself back to the Golden State Warriors and Andrew Wiggins trade and ruins the next 4 years of our NBA lives yet again, man. Guys, before we get going on today's video, if you don't mind leaving a like and of course subscribing if you're new to the channel. I cannot grow this channel without you, my friend. I can post 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 videos a day, but when it comes down to it, I need you to hit that subscribe button, guys. It would be greatly appreciated. And let me know in the comment section below as I go through these free agents, where do you think they should sign at? Now, keep in mind as we go through this list here, this list is via Legion Hoops, so you might think that the top 10 remaining guys look a different way. I'm just going based off of their top 10 notable free agents remaining. So the first one we have is Lou Williams. So Lou Williams, one of the greatest six men of all time. I think at this point in his NBA career, you can't really ask him to have a significant role on the team. He's not going to be a starter. Even as a role player, you got to think of him as like situationally, the occasional game, you need a spark plug. You need a vet that knows how to get it done. And Lou Williams is that type of player. I think a good team for him would actually be the Boston Celtics. And the reason I say that is because I did feel like they lacked a little bit like veteran leadership, scoring off the bench at times with their team. Now, you're not asking him to become, six-man Lou Williams again. But what he can do is he can play, in a lineup with, have that be Marcus Smart, Malcolm Brogdon, Jaylen Brown, whatever it may be. Lou Williams could play with them, and I think it would be a pretty good idea. And like I said, man, you're not relying on him. Just occasionally have Lou Williams come in the game. It's like, hey, we need a little pick-me-up. Would be a good point and a good role for him at this point in his NBA career. Next up, we have Carmelo Anthony. So Carmelo Anthony, definitely a fun player, man. We all love Melo, right? As far as him as an NBA player now, I mean, you can't really ask him to do too much. Pretty much similarly to Lou Williams, you can see flashes of his old self, but you're not really relying on Carmelo Anthony to be one of the greatest scorers of all time like he was in the prime of his career. So the way that I view Carmelo Anthony is a stretch four. He's somebody that's going to shoot the three ball, occasionally give him the ball. He can call isolation, create a shot for himself. That's how he made his career and everything. So I feel like a good fit for him is a team that kind of lacked this last year, and I think they actually drafted a player to become this type of guy going forward, and that's actually the Miami Heat, man. I feel like for Carmelo Anthony to be a stretch four for that team, I feel like the long-term guy there is Nikola Jovic. I think he can become that guy. He's like a 6'10", 3-level scorer. I think Melo would be a good mentor for him, but in this very short term of this Miami Heat's current NBA championship window, I think he fits nicely, man. And then, Jovic can become part of that new wave, which obviously is built around, Tyler Hero, Bam Adebayo, assuming none of those guys get traded for Kevin Durant or something. Like I said, man, this is pre any sort of blockbuster Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving trade. So keep that in mind. Next up, we have Blake Griffin. So Blake Griffin, once again, man, it's so crazy we're talking, because I'm doing this in order of top 10, 10 going up to number 1. Lou Williams, Carmelo Anthony, Blake Griffin, those used to be the top sold-out dudes in the NBA, but now it's okay, they're role players at this point in their career, and Blake Griffin is no exception to that. Blake Griffin, I don't really know what to expect out of him, man. To be quite honest, I feel like he could still be a solid player given the right role. But also, I just know that the injuries have caught up with him and everything. And even the things that he's really improved on over the years, have that be his handles and three-point shot, it's no longer something you can strictly rely on. I think, right now he is kind of like a small ball type of center. If you're looking to run up down the court, you play him there. Can still play some power forward and everything like that. And a team that I think makes a lot of sense is actually a team or a location he's interested in returning to, and that is Los Angeles. I'm saying the Clippers, his former team. And the reason I say that, man, is because, you look at their depth right now, they have Ivica as their starting center, but beyond that, the big guy depth, I mean, yeah, you got Morris and you got Batum and everything like that, man, but I feel like Blake Griffin would give them a good, I don't want to say backup center power forward. I still think he would need to be more third string, situationally playing out there, but I feel like he could play multiple positions. and signing for the right price and everything. He's a fan favorite. Yes, his time there did not end well, but, you know, I feel like the fans and everybody would move on past that at this point and everything, and Blake Griffin would bring some additional excitement to a team that's going to be looking to contend next season with Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, John Wall, all those dudes. So, yeah, man, Blake Griffin to the Clippers, I'd like to see it. Next up, we have Montrezl Harrell. So, I feel like a good fit for Montrezl Harrell is a team that needs something different at their center position, just to kind of see what it could lead to. And I think a really good fit would be the Utah Jazz. So with Montrezl Harrell, he definitely is more offensive, oriented out there. Being 6'7", everything like that. I mean, defensively, you're not really asking him to do too much, but he can be a six-man. He can be a starter for the Utah Jazz. I actually wouldn't mind them going for like a veteran type of center that can kind of play similarly to Rudy Gobert and using Montrezl Harrell off the bench. But they do have the rookie Walker Kessler, who led college centers in blocked shots. So, I mean, if you want to start him and start getting his feet wet on the team and everything and having him be that Rudy Gobert replacement and then have the veteran offensive guy in Montrezl Harrell, I think that would make a lot of sense. But like I said, I don't know if Walker Kessler is ready to be that guy yet. He's probably going to have some issues fouling and stuff like that in the NBA. So you might want to also find a short-term Rudy Gobert type of replacement that Walker Kessler can kind of mold into eventually. Next up, we have Dennis Schroeder. So Schroeder a few seasons ago on the OKC Thunder was like one of the best six men in the NBA. I still think as far as a backup point guard goes, that is his role. He can be that spark plug off the bench. If Dennis Schroeder is your point guard as a starter, you're probably in trouble to some extent. And I feel like a good fit for him would be the Dallas Mavericks. Because obviously they lost Jalen Brunson. With Jalen Brunson, you're losing 16 points and a few assists per game. Being, that type of bulk scorer that he was at times, especially going into the playoffs. Schroeder is not that, but he's still a capable scoring guard, and I think if you know that he can play that specialty role off the bench, but also very well, you could start him alongside Luka Doncic at times if needed. I think that's a pretty good role for him, man. So yeah, a lot of teams could use Dennis Schroeder that are looking for that type of point guard off their bench, but the Mavericks just kind of felt right to me to say them. Next up, we have a guy that missed a lot of last season, but actually one of the better offensive centers in the NBA. Defensively, he's pretty garbage, and that is Thomas Bryant of the Washington Wizards. So last year, he missed a lot of time. The season before that, I think he averaged around like 14 points per game. Like I said, one of the better offensive centers in the NBA. And I feel like a good fit for him would be the Portland Trail Blazers as a backup big. I think Nurkic is going to end up being the starter for the Portland Trail Blazers, just a player that knows how to play with Damian Lillard and everything like that. So Nurkic is definitely more of your traditional inside type of center. I think having Thomas Bryant that could be that offensive stretch off the bench would really help them kind of be able to get creative with some of their lineups. I think you could also run Thomas Bryant at the 4 sometimes if you want some additional size out there to compete with the teams like, I don't know, man, Karl Anthony Towns and Rudy Gobert. That might actually be pretty good for him. Plus, Jeremy Grant is also a great defensive player, so having him next to Thomas Bryant in certain lineups could be pretty deadly too. And just a lot of compare and contrast and what Bryant needs to be successful on an NBA roster. I think Portland kind of has that for him, man. Next up, we have Collin Sexton. So I'm kind of torn here. Part of me wants Collin Sexton to return to the Cleveland Cavaliers and see if that would work. I think the Cavaliers fan base really loves him a lot. My gut is that he doesn't go back to that team, and one team that I think makes so much sense, a team that's really looking to push to become a contender, would be the Washington Wizards. So they're still kind of looking for their full-term starting point guard on that team, and I just feel like Collin Sexton, his ability to play a little combo out there, have to be a point guard or shooting guard, but also his defensive tenacity. Yes, he's a little bit on the short side, but his defense doesn't really show that at all. And I think him playing next to Bradley Beal would definitely work, having both of them be the primary ball handlers of the team, and it gives them, a 20-point per game career scorer next to Beal and Kristaps Porzingis as the third option of that team. I think it makes a lot of sense, man. So yeah, Collin Sexton to the Washington Wizards. Next up, we have T.J. Warren. So T.J. Warren, it feels like we've not seen this dude since the bubble, kind of because we haven't because of injuries. And I think at this point in his career, coming off injuries and stuff like that, you don't want him to have this starter role where he's just going to end up getting injured again. So I kind of like the idea of him going to the Golden State Warriors as a veteran Otto Porter replacement. Come off the bench, you can play in multiple different lineups, provide that consistent scoring, that 3-level scoring to that Warriors team, and really just pave the way for the Warriors to have the best bench in the NBA, man. So TJ Warren to the Warriors. Warren Warriors, man. It makes sense. It's actually R, actually, man. Damn, bro. It's pretty much in the name. And then we got the final two right here. We got DeAndre Ayton. You guys saw the thumbnail, man. Charlotte Hornets. It just makes so much sense. Like, for that Hornets team to take that next level. Now, you can do this via a sign trade. I think the Hornets have a ton of players that could really help out the Phoenix Suns right now anyway. I don't know if they would find, like, their center replacement in that type of trade, but bringing in, like, a Terry Rozier or a Gordon Hayward or whoever it may be to add some additional depth to that Suns team, I think is a really good idea. And like I was saying, man, DeAndre with LaMelo Ball, like, just give him that, like, consistent center that Hornets team has been looking for a very, very long time. Absolutely love it, man. And then finally, we have James Harden. This one's pretty boring to end on, but what we got? Oh, damn, Miles Bridges throwing down, baby. Hey, what's this, man? Why do you keep on showing Miles Bridges highlights? Damn, bro. Keep on bringing up that mixtape. I think I started with James Harden, right? But no. So with James Harden, I will say I think he's going back to the 76ers. I think that's why PJ Tucker signed there. I think they already talked and everything. I think the report is that he's kind of waiting to hear about what other players on the team is going to do so he can kind of give the team more financial flexibility. And then James Harden is going to ultimately end up signing his contract, man. So what do you guys all think? Let me know in the comment section below. By the time you watch this, some of these might have already been decided. So let me know how close I actually got. But that's all we got, my friends. Peace out.